There are of course people out there who want a super slim smartphone that measures say 5.8 millimeters thin, has an incredibly large main camera lens, and they don't care about the battery life. Well, guess what? This is the Samsung S25 Edge, and it meets that exact requirement to a T. In fact, it is so slim and extremely pocketable that it's difficult to move away from this to some other phones. But comparing it to something like a Fold 6, a S25 Ultra and an S25 Plus, you can clearly see just how thin this phone really is. And on top of that, it weighs just 163 grams, which is insanely light compared to the over 200 grams of the S25 Ultra. So let's talk spec actually. You get a 200 megapixel main lens, a 6.7 inch AMOLED display, which is absolutely stunning, at 2600 nits of peak brightness and a 3900 milliamp hour battery. So on paper, all of that looks fine, but the question is, who on earth is asking for that spec sheet for this phone? And on top of that, it costs £1,100. So in this review, we're going to give you an idea as to who this phone is for and whether there's enough in it to buy it or not. So the compromises begin, of course, with the thinness of the phone, because that 3900 milliamp hour battery is lithium ion, not silicon carbon that is found in a lot of other phones, and it recharges at just 25 watts, meaning it will charge slower than a Samsung S24 Plus and S25 Ultra, S25 Plus, S25 Ultra, sorry, and even the Samsung A56, which is insane. And on top of that, when you're using the phone for things like gaming, because it's a high performing phone, and if you're browsing the web a lot and consuming a lot of content, you'll see the drain on the battery. In fact, running it through 3D Mark's benchmark on this particular phone, 20 full cycles, you can see the impact that this phone has on its battery performance, but also in terms of thermal throttling. It actually gets quite warm and struggles to actually keep up the level of processing speed that the phone is capable. On a plus point though, it does still have IP68 dust and water resistance, so it's pretty good if you were to get into photos on the beach, for example, or drop her in water. The rear camera housing is newly designed for this particular phone because it needs to be so slim and slender. You get a 200 megapixel main, 12 megapixel ultra wide, and that is all you'll get. There is no periscope lens on this particular phone, which is a huge miss, especially at that price point. So zooming on this is limited to 10x digital, 2x optical. So if you're looking for those really fast, really great zoom shots, you're not going to get them. Photographing further away is not great. But what I would say is that 200 megapixel main lens bends down and you still get a super punchy, detailed photo. It looks absolutely awesome, and the quality of the photo is really good. It just doesn't have that modes and the options that other flagship phones within this price point have, but in its totality, the cameras are really good. That all leads essentially to the main question, £1,100 for this phone, which is the biggest downside of the S25 Edge. Because if you compare it to something like an Oppo Find X8 Pro, this camera-wise and capability-wise is significantly better than the S25 Edge. But we've been super negative about the S25 Edge as a whole. There's a lot of innovation happening. So let's talk about the things that we really enjoyed about the S25 Edge. So it may not have the capabilities of other flagship cameras, but the output on this as a whole is really good. You in fact even get 8K video at 30 FPS on those cameras, and that 12 megapixel ultra wide, although a few generations old, still produces really great quality. And its totality, the camera systems in terms of shooting during the day, in portrait mode, in ultra wide, or in night shot photos, produces a very good balanced color. Yes, it's oversaturated. Yes, it's super vibrant, like only a camera phone made by Samsung can be, but the quality is really good. Super detailed. You can look into and zoom into the photos a lot more and see that it retains a lot of that detail. And if you get closer with that ultra wide, it'll automatically switch into macro mode, which means you can get super detailed up close shots with that 12 megapixel camera, which is pretty sick. When you move into things like night mode dedicated, this again produces some really good results as a whole. It may not have the same level of, I guess, real to life situations in night mode as other smartphones in this price category do, but they still produce a pretty good result. And then video, 4K 60, 8K 30 on show here, both look really good. And I think besides the iPhone, this is probably the best video recording phone you can get in terms of its quality, how well it runs. You don't get any ghosting or sort of that blurred frame rate when you're panning or zooming in and out of your shots. So the camera system on the S25 Edge is definitely a plus point. And one of the main draws of the S25 Edge, of course, is going to be its absolutely insanely thin 5.8mm design profile, which is awesome. But don't let it think that this is in any way a cheaply built phone, because it is titanium and it will not bend under any circumstances. So it's pretty strong. I went pretty ham there, to be fair, and it looks really, really good. Personally, I think the black color in this is probably the go-to color, but this silver is sort of the main color that Samsung have aimed for. You do get a really good display as well, 120 Hz, 2600 nits of peak brightness, and the quality of the display is excellent, super punchy, great watching content on here whilst our battery lasts you, of course, and you can sit there for hours and hours and game and watch content on here because the borders are super, super slim as well. Is a over 90% screen to body ratio, 2600 nits of peak brightness, which is awesome, and it looks really, really good. Now, we mentioned the 8 Elite chipset earlier and how it can cause throttling in thermals because the vapor chamber on here, although the same as the S25 Ultra, is going to struggle to dissipate heat on such a thin frame. But when you are gaming as a whole, the quality of the experience is top notch. You get tons and tons of detail. If you're able to play Call of Duty in max settings on both like we have here, you'll be able to have a really great detailed gaming experience. It has options as well that allows you to optimize the game more, to boost frame rates and to boost graphics and quality. And then the 8 Elite does a great job in things like AI on the phone as well, and managing the OS, which of course Galaxy is kind of sort of like the benchmark when it comes to AI processing on an Android smartphone. So things like Magic Eraser, being able to use the phone for like Google Gemini prompts, etc., runs super, super smooth, runs very, very well. And obviously the Samsung has a ton of great AI features built in. So that 8 Elite chipset, although at the top end, when you're really pushing it, does throttle its thermals a little bit. As a whole, running this S25 Edge, it does a great job. But then the question at the end of this video we want to answer is, who is the S25 Edge really for? The S25 Edge is an incredibly highly innovative phone, super slim, great processing, good main camera lens, and it looks absolutely fantastic and is built incredibly well, as we mentioned earlier. So the question, who is this for? I think this phone is for those early adopters, the people who want to be at the forefront of saying, I had that phone, I remember that phone because it came out first, and they don't care about battery life because they want such a thin profile. What I would say is, if you're pocketing this phone on the regular, picking up your normal flagship smartphone like we have here on the X8 Pro feels quite heavy, to a degree even bulky. I have two takes here though. One, I think the release of this phone coincides with Apple's iPhone 17 Air coming out in September, and maybe to an extent Samsung thought, do you know what, we will release this even though it has these major compromises like battery, like cameras, like charging and thermals, just to get ahead of Apple's release in September. My second thought is slightly different. I think this is personally a bit of a customer test, see if there is a demand for this style of phone, because the tech already exists in the world where you can power such a phone and have great battery life, great charging speeds without the compromises, and possibly even have really great thermals. Take the OnePlus 13T, that's a smaller phone, about a 6.3-inch device, has an over 6,000 milliamp hour battery in it, rapid charging, 3 times the speeds, I believe, of the S25 Edge, and that is possible in such a tiny phone. So I think you're probably best avoiding the S25 Edge right now. However, the tech inside this will eventually bleed into the S Ultra series and other flagship devices in the near future. So you may not be buying the S25 Edge now, but you will be buying version 2 very soon. Thank you so much for watching, and be sure to let us know in the comment section your thoughts on the S25 Edge. Does this cost and worth £1,100, euros or dollars, or would you get something else for that exact same price point? Until the next one, we out.